Marty and I had been married for 2 years, and I didn't think life could get any better, but it did. 7 months ago, Marty got pregnant. We had given up on having a child, but now we were going to be parents. A girl, a daughter. Wow. I read somewhere that girls were always closer to their fathers than their mothers. Hell, that was fine with me. I also read that children got most of their personality from their fathers. That was fine with me as well. Anyway, we were thrilled. We bought tons of clothes and toys. We decorated the spare bedroom in every shade of pink imaginable. It looked like a room full of Pepto-Bismol when we were finished. Then the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, and in all probability the most beautiful in the whole world, walked into my office. Okay, the office is a slight exaggeration. It's really a cubicle. But it is a corner cubicle, and in this dealership that means a hell of a lot. Yep, I said dealership. I sell cars. Cadillacs. I sell a lot of Cadillacs. In any month, I sell more than the next 2 salesmen combined. And the interesting part is, I am a lousy salesman. Really, I am. I couldn't give a damn if you ever bought a car from me or anyone else. So, why am I so successful? It seems that I am some kind of magnet for people who want to buy cars. It started 6 years ago. My father always loved Cadillacs and never had any other car. He said they were the best and safest on the road. That seemed to work pretty well until an 18-wheeler ran over the one both of my parents were in, killing them. My father was a pretty smart man and established a family trust which, according to his wishes, became irrevocable upon his death. I was their only son and was named both trustee and sole beneficiary. There were not massive amounts of assets in the trust, less than $1 million, a very nice house, and 2 Cadillacs. My mother's and what was left of my father's. That's what brought me to the dealership. It was time to get a new one. Mom's was getting on in years, so it was time to trade. On the showroom floor was exactly the model I wanted. I was looking it over and waiting for a salesman when an elderly couple came up to me and asked if I worked there. I told them no. Then they pointed to another car on the floor and asked if I knew anything about it. I told them that I knew a little bit, so we went over its features. When we were finished, I went back to the one I was looking at. By then, a salesman had broken free and we were negotiating my deal. I generally know what I want and try hard to get it, so he was having a hard sell with me. Somewhere near the end of our negotiations, the sales manager introduced himself and told me that the couple I had been talking to bought the car we had looked at. He thanked me and gave me virtually everything I had been asking for in my own deal. Over the next couple of months, I was in and out of the dealership 3 times. Once to get my title and registration, once for service, and once to have a defective tire replaced. Each of the 3 times I had a customer try to buy a car from me. I never sit around the service waiting area because there is always some trite reality program on TV or some loudmouth is talking on his cell phone, so I hang out on the showroom floor and look at the cars, and invariably, someone will mistake me for a salesman. The last time it happened, the same sales manager from before asked me into his office. A real office, a big office, a really nice office. By the end of the conversation, I was working for him. That was 6 years ago. In that time, I have become the highest-grossing salesman in the dealership's history and have made a ton-load of money. I work when I want to and come and go as I please. It's eerie the way it has turned out. Up until 3 years ago, I was single and loving life. I made love with a lot of women and sold a lot of cars. Over the years, I have turned down several promotions because even though I would like to have had a real office, I didn't want the hassle that went with a management position. Besides, I was making more money than everyone except the sales manager. Anyway, this gorgeous woman stormed into my cubicle and started talking. I didn't hear a word. I sat there with my mouth open and my eyes popping out of my head. "Are you listening to me?" I shook my head to clear it. "I'm sorry. My mind was somewhere else. Like on that beautiful body," I thought to myself. "I said my name is Leah Walker, and I'm married to the biggest jerk in the world." "And exactly why is that of interest to me?" I asked. "Because he's having an affair with your wife and is her baby daddy, that's why." "Excuse me? What did you say?" I questioned. You heard every word, she replied. Well, let me see. A woman I've never seen before comes into my cubicle and declares that her scumbag husband is having an affair with my wife and could be the father of her baby. Is that about it? At this point, she took out a stack of pictures and tossed the first one to me. It was a picture of a very naked Marty on her knees. Is that your wife? She questioned. Yes, I replied. That's my husband with her. She tossed another picture at me. It showed Marty and her husband making love to her. It also showed her very pregnant stomach almost touching the mattress. Then she tossed a third picture showing her husband kissing my wife's stomach. I was suddenly very sick. Where did you... And I never made it to my trash can. I threw up all over my floor and caught the attention of almost everybody in the place. Leah Walker grabbed the pictures as people started rushing in to see what had happened. I excused myself and went to the restroom to rinse my mouth out and slap some cold water on my face. When I came out, maintenance had cleaned up my mess and sprayed some disinfectant around the showroom. Leah Walker was sitting on one of the several chairs we had scattered around. I walked up to her. I apologize. You kinda took me by surprise. I know exactly how you feel. Can you talk now? She asked. I don't know. I can try. We can either go to the conference or go someplace else. Let's get out of here. The place smells like vomit, she said and tried to smile at me. She took my arm and we walked out. Which of these fancy cars is yours? We went to mine and got in. Want me to drive? She asked. I shook my head no and headed for the nearest bar, which happened to be in the Hilton Hotel 3 blocks away. We pulled in and I started to get out. Wait a minute, Mr. Lewis. If you're thinking of a revenge intimacy, you can forget it. By the way, that's my last name. My first is Matthew. Matt to my friends. This is the closest place with alcohol and I need a drink and an explanation. A few minutes later, we were in a booth with drinks in our hands. I'm a gin and tonic drinker. Leah Walker preferred Riesling. Okay, Mrs. Walker. From the beginning, please. 3 days ago, my husband was shot by another jerk he was trying to arrest. My husband is a police officer. He and some other officers were in the middle of a drug bust and all hell broke loose. He was shot 3 times and is in critical condition, but his current criticality, if there is such a word, is nothing compared to the hurt I'm going to put on his black back if he recovers. Anyway, he is in the hospital and is unconscious. I took his personal property home and was going through it. In his wallet, he had a picture of a white woman. She was naked from the waist up and I wasn't impressed. No offense, Mr. Lewis, but my body is much nicer than hers. So I started trying to figure out why he had it. I searched the house to see if there were any others and found none. Then I called his shift supervisor and asked if I could go through his locker at the station. That's where I hit pay dirt. What do you mean pay dirt? I asked. I found about 50 pictures of Scumbag and your wife and 2 videos of them having intimacy. There were several letters from your wife. The 2 of them have post office boxes which they use. That's how I knew who she was and how to find you. Her letters were full of her telling him how happy she was that she was pregnant with his daughter. Her name is going to be Martina, by the way. She also described the pink bedroom you have fixed up for her. She told him she could hardly wait to divorce you so he could move into the house and see it. I started to heave like I was going to throw up. Oh, hell, not again. It's okay. I think I can control it. I hope so. May I have copies of the videos? Of course. She reached into her purse, brought out 2 CDs, and gave them to me. I know you are going to need time to digest all this, but let me tell you what I'm doing. I see an attorney in about an hour. The next time I talk to the jerk will be in court. I'm going to sue him for every cent he has ever had, or will ever have. That baby will have to depend on her mama because her daddy will have nothing to give her. Give me a day or so to think about things and I'll give you a call. Can I have your number? I took out my phone and put her in it. We finished our drinks and she left. Even in my current confused state, I joined every other person in the room in enjoying watching that beautiful woman sashay out of there. Grace, elegance, and style combined with beauty made a powerful combination. Marty is no beast by any means, but why in the world he would give up Leah for her is a mystery. Marty is good in bed, but not spectacular. I just knew she would be the best piece of beautiful woman possible. It suddenly dawned on me that I didn't know her husband's name, so I called her. "Surely you haven't made up your mind already?" she asked. "No, but I have some questions for you. First, what is the jerk's full name? And second, how did you know my name and where to find me? And third, does Marty know he has been shot?" "His name is George Henry Walker. In one of her letters, your wife told him where you work, and wouldn't it be funny if he bought a car from you with your own money after the divorce? So I had your last name from her name on the letters, and I knew where you worked. Easy. As far as knowing if he has been shot, the press knows about the bust and has reported it, but not the names of those who were shot. When I went through his locker, I found a phone I didn't know he had and assumed she had contacted him on it. If she has tried in the last 3 days, she is probably wondering why he hasn't responded, and I haven't been able to unlock it to see. Damn her. Let her worry. For the first time since I met Leah Walker, I was almost able to chuckle. For a cop, he certainly leaves a trail of clues, doesn't he? If that jerk survives, the next trail he leaves will be a messy one caused by one furious woman. Earlier I said she had grace, elegance, style, and beauty. Now I can add garbage mouth to her list of assets. If she owned a liquor store, she would be perfect. I didn't want to go home because I didn't feel like facing Marty, and I had no idea how either she or I would act. I knew about her and Jerk, but as far as I knew, she was unaware that I knew. I called the dealership attorney and asked to see him. 20 minutes later, he was confirming what I thought about my family trust. She couldn't touch a dime of it. She could only get half of what we had accrued during the marriage, and I was determined that she wasn't getting any of that either. I'd fly to Las Vegas and lose every penny at the casinos before she got a dime. Then I went home. Marty was there sitting in the living room. She jumped up when she saw me and ran up to me for a hug and kiss. I stopped her and told her that I wasn't feeling too well and didn't want to infect either her or her baby. She took a step back at that comment and just looked at me. I tried to maintain a bit of normalcy during dinner and after. Just after dinner, we were sitting in the living room talking. It was one of the most difficult evenings I have ever had. I could hardly stand to look at the cheating woman, much less carry on a civil conversation. But I knew that my plan depended on it. Just a few days. Then she would be toast. She was telling me that someone was telling her about a drug bust a couple of days ago, and apparently some people were shot. I then told her that a police friend of one of our mechanics had been shot a couple of days ago and was in critical condition. I told her I didn't know if it was the same incident or not. I watched as her eyes got huge and fear spread over her face. She quickly excused herself and almost ran to our bedroom. I followed and listened through the door as she made a phone call. "Come on, sweetie, answer. Please answer. Oh God, don't let it be him. Please." "Don't let it be who? And who is Sweetie?" I asked as I opened the door and walked into the room. "And whose phone is that?" "Yours is on the coffee table." It's Debbie's phone. She left it here yesterday. She's Sweetie." "Don't let what be who?" I asked. "What are you talking about?" she replied. "You said, oh God, don't let it be him." "No, I didn't. I said, God, I hate the gym." She made an excuse. "Oh, okay. I guess I misunderstood." And I went to make myself a drink. She lied, and I knew it. I decided to forget the drink and just left. I drove to my favorite coffee shop and called Leah Walker. "Hi, this is Matthew Lewis. I talked to an attorney this afternoon, and I have decided to nail their backs to the wall." "Good. That means they will get it from both sides. My attorney and I are doing the same thing. By the way, I managed to unlock the jerk's phone. The password was his badge number, the unimaginative bastard. There are hundreds of messages between the two of them. Some of them are pretty disgusting. Right after I unlocked it, your wife called and left a message. She wanted to know why he hadn't called her. Then she called again later wanting to know if he was okay. She had heard that a police officer had been shot and was afraid it might be him and he should call her as soon as he could. How did she find out? So I told her what I had told Marty. We both laughed. I also told her that what I really wanted to do was put at least one of their videos on the web and see if I could make some money. I could almost feel her smile through the phone. We talked for a while longer before hanging up. I went back home. Marty was asleep. I slept in one of the spare bedrooms. The next morning she was gone when I got up. I packed a suitcase and made arrangements for a flight to Las Vegas. I called my sales manager and told him that I needed a few days off. He said no problem, and I headed for the airport. 6 hours later, I was sitting at a blackjack table betting the maximum and trying to lose all my money. It didn't quite work out that way. Within 3 hours, I was ahead $12,500, so I changed my plan. I started writing checks on our personal accounts and cashing them. If I couldn't lose it, I would pretend to. It was around 11 that evening that I received a call from Marty. "Why aren't you home? Are you working late? You never work late." "I'm in Las Vegas and I am drunk as a skunk." "What? Why are you there?" she asked. "Because I found out that you are a cheating woman." I ended the call and turned my phone off. Then I went up to my room. I had put off watching the videos Leah had given me, but now it was time. I made myself a rum and coke from the minibar. I had never had a rum and coke in my life, but I had never watched my wife cheating with someone else either, so I figured it could be a night of firsts. The first scene was obviously early in their relationship because Marty didn't appear to be pregnant, but she certainly was excited. She was intimate with him in every way imaginable and never seemed to get enough. I threw up, but I did make it to the bathroom. I don't know which was more disgusting, watching her cheat or trying to drink the rum and coke. After rinsing my mouth and putting water on my face, I sat and stared at my laptop. It suddenly dawned on me that the video had been shot from all angles. It moved around the room. There was somebody else in the room. Holy hell. Exactly how many people was she cheating on me with? I made another drink. Whiskey and Sprite this time. The drink wasn't any better than the rum and coke, and the video was a lot worse. Marty and Georgie made love for 2 solid hours. Then the video went blank. I kept telling myself that it couldn't get any worse. Have you ever tried Scotch and ginger ale? There is no drink on earth which could be worse. It was a perfect pairing for the next scene I watched. The video came back on and they were standing drying each other off. They had obviously taken time off to shower. "Baby, there's something I want you to do for me." "Anything, Georgie. You know that," she replied. "Freddie has been kind enough to film us, so now we need to thank him. I want you to do him a favor." She looked first at Georgie and then Freddie. Well, at the camera, actually. Apparently, Freddie was behind it. "Are you sure you want me to?" she asked. "Come on, baby. It's just a favor." "Looks like this is your lucky night, Freddie. Drop your pants," she answered. The video went blank again. I awoke late the next morning with a huge hangover. I took a shower and went downstairs to the buffet for something to eat. I couldn't keep anything down. I turned on my phone and had at least a dozen calls from Marty and 2 from Leah. Forget Marty. I called Leah. "Hello, Matt. How are things? I watched the first of the 2 videos you gave me." "Don't tell me. You threw up?" she asked. "I don't know you well enough to say damn you, but demon you." I groaned. "Hungover?" She chuckled. "Oh, God. I haven't been drunk since my senior prom, but I made up for it last night. How are things there?" "Here? Where are you?" she asked. "Vegas," I replied. "What in the hell are you doing there?" she asked. "Trying to lose all my money so I don't have to give it to my soon-to-be ex-wife." "Well, good luck. She went by the hospital last night to see the scumbag. Don't know how she found out he had been shot or where he was, but she did." "Were you there?" I asked. "Hell no. I told you the next time I see him it is going to be in court." "Did they let her in?" I asked. "Nope. He is in isolation and nobody sees him." How do you know she was there? I asked. His mother told me. She wants to know why I haven't been by to see him. I told her that he was a cheating scumbag and I didn't want anything else to do with him and that she could have him back if he lives. Anyway, enough about those two. When will you be back? Don't know. 3 or 4 days, I guess. Well, if you're serious about putting their video on the internet, let me know how I can help and call me when you get home. I found that I was able to eat a little, so I did. Then decided it was time to get back to the blackjack table. Another 4 hours and another $8,000 profit. This wasn't working out the way I planned. I'm $20,500 ahead, plus the other $12,000 from 4 personal checks I had cashed in the casino last night. So there I sat with $32,500 in my pocket. I felt like there was a neon sign over my head with an arrow pointing down at me, flashing, "Rob this idiot bastard." I went to my room and locked it in the safe. Then I sat down with another drink from the minibar. This time I wanted to enjoy it, so I made a gin and tonic. I took stock of my financial situation. She couldn't touch my family's trust, and all the money I made and saved before marrying her had been put in that trust. Her car was in her name, so she keeps that. The house we live in belongs to the trust, so she can't touch that. In the 31 months we had been married, we had spent a lot of money but had invested virtually nothing, so all the money we had was the roughly $16,000 we had in our joint account before I cashed the checks last night. We had 4 credit cards with a total outstanding balance of less than $4,000. I had taken $12,000 out of the joint account last night, which left around $4,000. After paying off the credit cards, the bank balance would be near zero. Marty had never worked a day in her life, ever. So she had contributed nothing financially to the marriage. Her parents had supported her before our wedding, and I took over from them. She wanted to be a stay-at-home wife, and that had been okay with me. I could go home now. Within 2 hours of landing at home the next day, the money that I had with me was in the trust account. All but one of our credit cards had been paid off and canceled, and I had called Leah to tell her I was back. I headed for the house feeling pretty good. Marty's car was in the garage when I got there. She was not in a good mood. "What do you mean calling me a cheating woman? I've never cheated on you, and why did you hang up on me, and why didn't you return my calls, and etc., etc." She finally ran out of things to yell about and was going hoarse. "Where did you spend night before last?" I asked her. "Why, here, of course," she replied. "You're lying. You spent it in the waiting room of Memorial Hospital trying to see your love buddy, George Henry Walker. You also spent yesterday and last night there. You've been home less than 2 hours, and the only reason you're here is because they kicked your back out of the hospital." She started stammering. "Damn you and your Get your stuff together and be out of this house in 1 hour." "You jerk. You can't kick me out of my own home. And besides, I'm pregnant. The courts won't let you kick me out," she replied. "Jesus Christ, but you and Georgie are extremely dumb. How did he ever become a cop? This house belongs to my family trust, and as the trustee, I'm telling you to get out and stay out. The courts have nothing to say about it. This is not your husband talking. It is the trustee of a legal and binding document which the courts have no power to change. You now have 55 minutes. "But Matt, what about our baby?" she asked. "You mean Martina? She is neither my baby nor my responsibility, so ask your baby daddy what he wants you to do." "Oh, that's right. You can't ask him. He's in isolation at the hospital. If, after the baby is born, a DNA test confirms that she is mine, I will take care of her needs. But you and I are finished." There comes a long silence. Your time is ticking away. "Matt, she started stammering again. "What the hell did I tell you about your Just leave!" 20 minutes later, her car pulled out of the driveway. 8 days later, George Henry Walker died of injuries received while protecting the citizens of our fair city. At least that's what the newspaper article said. He was given a hero's burial. Pictures of his funeral showed a grieving Marty being held up by someone identified only as Freddie. Leah and I saw the pictures on my laptop from our hotel room in Cabo San Lucas. We had just finished checking our online bank account. In less than 1 week after I posted them, the 2 videos Leah found had grossed us $1,300. I'll never sell another car. And so, we've reached the end of today's story. Was it what you expected, or did it take a twist you didn't see coming? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below, and let's get a conversation going. If this story kept you hooked, make sure to hit that like button. And if you're new here or just haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time to join our community. I bring you fresh, captivating stories every day, so click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.